Hi, Shell. Got a new project, huh?
Yep. Hello, Peg. It is October in 2022, and normally in this month we do a daily art journaling challenge. And we've been doing this for 6 or 7 years. We started out a long time ago with four people doing it together, and we were doing something called Nano Jalmo, which is what does that stand for? I don't even know. Something about art journaling every day. Art
Yeah,
journaling every day. Anyway, um, and
November. It
we
was a November thing, so it was no.
November, yeah, no, that must be the November art. I don't know. Anyway, there was prompts. We quickly, after a year or two, started making our own prompts, and we have been doing this and offering it as a challenge with our prompts for a few years. This year, with all the stuff that's going on and all the things that made it difficult to art journal every day for a lot of people, we are changing the challenge and we are making it a weekly challenge with steps each day. So we're going to go ahead and offer the steps in our Art Joy of Sharing group. And for the first week, we're going to be using our monthly challenge as the challenge. So today, that's what we're doing. But we wanted to show you some of our other journals that we've done in the past doing this challenge because we thought you might be interested. And I have three here. I don't know. Pig's probably got a lot of them. But we'll be doing a page a week, making little steps. And I think that this will help out people because people got overwhelmed with trying to do an entire page each day. And we got overwhelmed with trying to do an entire page, an entire video, editing and uploading each day. So there's just no possible way we can do that right now. So we're going to start out with step one on the first day and then just keep going. And as little bites like that, people should be able to play along really easily and also be able to focus on one step each day, which makes it easier to not get overwhelmed. Do you think so, Peg?
Oh, yeah, just take 15 minutes, plan 15 minutes a day where you're going to sit down and do the next step in the process. And before you know it, in a week's time, you'll have an art journal page. It's one way
Exactly.
to approach it.
So in the past, what I did was I made art journals out of junk. These are all made out of junk, like junk mail. I was looking at this one. This one was obviously made out of junk mail that came for elections and things. And these all were made out of stuff like that. And this is 2017, 2018, and 2019. And we literally did a page every single day with prompts. And this one, I stuck the prompt sheet in the back so that I could remember. This was 2017, and I think Peg has her 2017 one.
I have, let's see, what year is this? This one is,
Maybe 2016. You said
this one is from 2019.
2019. I have my
This
2019
one
also.
is from 16, but
Yeah.
I put a conglomeration of stuff in here because we were doing pick a stick challenge. We were doing, so many things.
Well,
And
we would usually, we always incorporated our pick a stick challenge on our live stream into our process. So every one of these is going to have a pick a stick in it for that month. Back when we were doing pick a stick challenge, which we don't do anymore. But as you can see, these were pages and we just did one each day. If you wanted to see any of our pages, these are available on our own personal channels. Every single one of them is a video. This one has puzzle pieces. There's always a missing piece. This one's a hedgehog.
yeah, some of my journals are really big. They don't even fit under here. And we used to do lengthier things, and I was using these 9 by 12 pages. Well, I quickly determined that in an hour and a half's time, if you've got a wet page, that's not the thing to do. So then I shifted down to things like this Arnold Grumbacher. I think this is probably 8.5 by 5.5 or something like that. So this one was from Art Joy is Sharing Watercolor from February. So, you know, this size page was a lot more manageable for me. And I do like these small ones from Dina Wakley. And that's this year. I did this one for, what year was this? 2019. And the whole thing was in this book from
There's an undone page.
Dina Wakley. Oh, look, there's a lion. That's in our mood board.
I think my very first page has a roar. I think the prompt was roar.
Roar, yeah. That I think that
And
was
mine is a kitty cat. But yeah, this one keeps coming apart. This one is attached together with D rings and or key ring type situation, and it wants to keep unattaching. But these are super easy to make, and that's the reason because I knew it was going to be filled up in a month, rather than buying one. I just went ahead and made them. But I do know that a couple of these have pages left. In fact, I'm going to work on this page today, which used to be junk mail, I can tell. This is attached by wire screw key rings. And it's just, punch a couple holes.
the prompt must have been middle on this. Day 16 must have been middle. So I put the big focal point right there in the middle, looks like.
Yeah.
This one was talk.
So I guess what we didn't say yet, I don't remember saying it, is that every month in Art Joy of Sharing, this is a pack of old papers, we have a monthly challenge, which is a step out challenge for art journaling or whatever you want to use it on. And we have a mood board challenge. And those are the two ones that we have every single month, right? You get one of these slides, you get one of these slides. This one has a couple colors and some steps. This one is an inspiration. So this is replacing that. Basically, instead of a monthly challenge, we're going to have a weekly challenge. So it will be similar to this, but we always have a theme for the month. And this month, it is primitive art. So all month long, we're going to be exploring primitive art, what that means, how it works. Talk about all the things that go to that. So for this week, the primitive art we're going to be focusing on is American folk art. Folk art is the type of art that you might see on useful things. It's decorative, but it's done by people who are not trained in fine art. So things like paintings on wood that someone used as a decorative element, quilts, fabrics. The folk art in America seems to have always had a purpose. Would you agree, Peg? It's a purposeful art made by people who aren't trained in art. And so that's why we think it's primitive, because if you went to school for fine art, you might draw a bird that has a lot of feathers and it's got very detailed little claws on its feet, and its beak has got little holes where you could really get crazy and get deep into this bird. But if it's primitive art, then it's a basic shape. You still understand what it is. You identify it immediately, but it's not as refined, not as fussy. So that's what we're going to be focusing on our page for this week, American folk art. Images that you might see in American folk art seem to be things like very, very simple houses or things like that. You might see things like sunflowers are really popular. Crows are really popular for some reason. I don't know why. Just, things that were around the farm or around the town every day, and that's what you would see. And that's what was made into decoration, because even back when people, all they did was work, all they did was work when they were out on the farm back in the day. Just work, get up, work, 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 go to sleep, get up, work, work, work. But they still had time to make something, something artistic or creative, to get those creative juices out and to make something pretty for their house. So maybe it was a quilt for the bed, or maybe it was, some wooden object or carving or things like that. Even pottery, was made, baskets, basket weaving, those type of things. So we're going to be doing that today.
Yeah, one of the being from Iowa, one of the people I first think of with American folk art, very primitive, very linear, is Grant Wood, because he lived right here and produced work of the farmlands here in Iowa. So, those are very vivid in my mind. So, what I'm going to start with is the black marker, because that's the first thing that we're doing for today is the black marker, and we're going to draw a primitive image. So
Yes.
I kind of sketched a little something out here, and I'm going to take I need to find my eraser because I want to erase some of that off of there.
And I would say that you should use a permanent marker, not something that's going to bleed.
I'm going to
start
use
out with. So I'm looking for something, maybe a Posca pen, or maybe this one is a Jot permanent marker.
Just about everybody has this kind of stuff, whether it's the permanent
Sharpies,
marker
yeah,
dollar store or a Sharpie, whatever. This is something everybody's got around.
Yep. And I'm gonna focus on things that I've seen in folk art before. Do you remember toll painting?
Oh yeah.
My aunt really did toll painting a lot, but I'm gonna be something really simple. And I still want to think about composition, and make it pleasing to the eye while not worrying. Oh, I don't want that. I'm looking for a pencil. If I use a Stabilo pencil, it's going to be a watery mess. Bad idea.
Yeah, they used to paint on just about everything, all the platters and bowls, and we had a lot of that when I was a kid. There were a lot of toll painted items as serving dishes.
Yes, dishes, absolutely. Because I live in the Southwest, I tend to be surrounded by Mexican folk art. And one of the weeks this month, we will focus on that, especially since it's October.
Right.
And there is a big holiday that has a lot of folk art touches.
Well, and there's so much art that's cultural that is just really fun to explore.
Absolutely. That's kind of what we're doing this month. We're going to go from country to country. We're going to go from, we're going to explore different time. So I was trying to make like a pumpkin because I think since October, we might want a pumpkin.
Well, yeah. I got to go out to the garden and harvest some squash. I've got some winter squash that is still out there.
And maybe I want, I don't know, maybe over here I would like to have maybe a sunflower, because these are also something that comes in the fall.
Love sunflowers.
Even here in Arizona, I see people having them in their yard now.
Yeah, I just put out my Halloween stuff with the scarecrow and the pumpkins and the sheaths of wheat and corn and
fun. I haven't had time to even think about any of that thing. Things are not going particularly well in my house. So,
well, I was cleaning out. I've been painting in the household. I was painting in the kitchen, and so some of the things I get moved around in the garage, and I
You need
realized
to
that I had all this decor for outdoors out in the garage. And so I thought, well, I need to set that out because the kids go to the school right up the hill from us.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, well, surely they're going to enjoy seeing festive Halloween stuff out in the yard. So,
Absolutely. Normally I do that. I do put out, you know, decorations because we have a school in our neighborhood, and I just haven't had a chance to do that yet.
yeah. So anyway, it was a nice day today, not as cold. We were like 37 degrees yesterday morning. It was crazy. And it was much warmer and nicer today. So I thought, well, today's the day. It's coming out and it's getting stuck in the ground.
Sounds like a great idea to me. Maybe I'll get to it. Maybe I'll have a moment. Maybe to put some out. I don't carve pumpkins anymore because we have these animals called javelina, and people think they're pigs, but they're not They're not wild pigs.
No, they're not.
They're not, but they act like pigs, and they smell like pigs. They're stinky, and they're blind, and they really, really enjoy coming and eating your pumpkins if you put pumpkins out.
Well, they probably like the smell of them.
Yeah, they're like, ooh, snacks.
Yeah.
So if the teenagers don't get your carved pumpkins, the javelinas will.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a sunflower. I've got a pumpkin, and I think what I really want here is maybe also a crow because it just seems like I should.
Well, yeah.
But I'm not sure where exactly he's going to sit.
Crows and bats and, spooky
Fun stuff.
things. And, there's lots of things that are fall, just leaves. And if you look at the mood board, there's like wheat stalks and lots of fun
Oh,
ideas.
wheat stalks would be good for this one too. Maybe I'm just happy with that. Maybe I don't need a crow. I don't know. I was planning on making a crow, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go over my drawing. And by the way, if you really are going to be turned off to this week's challenge by saying you don't know how to draw, please find something to trace. You don't have to draw it if you don't feel comfortable drawing. You could even use a child's coloring book.
Absolutely.
Something like that. I think this pen is dead. I did not know. I hope I have another one in the drawer. Where are my extra Posca pens? That is very disappointing. Maybe I'll just use this. For now, I can't remember where my other Posca pens are, so I'm going to use this one that says it's a permanent mark. Oh, it's very fat. It's a different look. I would have preferred the other one, but needs must. So the reason I'm doing this on an old piece of paper, if you ever really do look at the folk art that's been venerated, people's famous folk art, you'll see that the colors in American folk art are very subdued. They are not bright colors, and I'm assuming that that is probably because they did not have the pigments to make super, super bright, crazy colors, be my guess. So by starting out with this old paper, I'm getting that kind of look of, something not new and somewhat subdued. Oh, okay. Like, where's my line? This marker is very fat and juicy. Juicy, juicy.
Let's see, we get our little squash.
Squash.
We have some squash down here.
I cooked some butternut squash the other
Oh,
day,
good.
and I just steamed it and put butter, salt, and pepper on. It was really good.
Somebody was talking about cooking squash in their pressure cooker where they just stick the whole thing in there and then they just take it out and gut the thing. It's like,
Well, that's a good idea. I don't actually have a pressure cooker, but I could see how that would be.
it's like the Instapot stuff, you know.
Yeah, the Instapot. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I had. I don't have the Instapot, but I have the knockoff, and it works just fine. So the brewing is coming along. Got some apples, and you know that's a fall favorite, right?
Oh yes. The other day I was thinking to myself, I need to make an apple pie. If I have a moment, I'm going to make an apple pie because it just sounds so good. All right, there's my sunflower and my pumpkin. What else? I did want a crow, but I don't know if he's going to go on here or not. I was just getting rid of the extra things here I didn't want. Maybe I'll just go for it. Maybe there needs to be a fun little crow, very primitive guy just right in front of this pumpkin. And it's going to be black anyway, so I don't need to worry about, you know, very basic, very primitive, very on theme.
Yeah.
Super basic. He almost looks like a duck. It looks like a duck.
Well, we see a lot of those in the fall too. The ducks and the geese migrate through here, so we've been watching them moving through. Let's see, this probably needs a little chimney stack. I think I can call that drawing pretty well done. I might want to add some leaves or something later, but I'm going to erase some of my pencil lines now. But what I did is I went through and I was scribbling down some of my watercolor pencils to get my palette for October, because these things all go together. These moody colors, these, you know, on the challenge, there's the yellow oxide and the blue green. So very folk art-y muted tones.
Yes.
But I want to remove some of the pencil markings here and get it ready to accept some color.
I think that's going to be my little crow. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just going to I'm going to paste this into this journal that, you know, I should take. Well, I'm not going to. That's too much trouble.
Yeah, I'm shaking the table a little bit, but the erasers do.
They do. going to paste my drawing in here to try to cover up some of this stuff.
I'm gonna mute
And
because
I
I
will
hear
probably
somebody
do it with
kick
Matt
in
Medium.
the kitchen here.
So let's do that. And I'm considering this still part of part 1. This has some gesso on it. I can feel it, but you know, just putting another piece of paper over the top of it seems to me to be the thing to do right now. So I'm going to put some matte medium down on here and then put some on the back of my paper too. Let's just use this. And of course that pen went right through the paper because there's a permanent marker. That's crazy paper, crazy thin paper. All right, and then we'll just put this right down here. And if need be, I will, of course, also just continue my drawing because the page in the book is bigger than my page. So that'll be fine too. And we'll just see what happens with my primitive art.
I think I'm getting ready to move on to my background.
Oh, I'm not because I've got now wet matte medium on here. Of course. But I'm going to try to dry it real quick. Just let me make sure that everything's glued down real well.
So it says fill in the background with blue-green color. Well, I'm going to add both blue and green. And if you look at the colors here, I have an ice spruce. This one is antique linen. I think I like that up here in the sky area, maybe a little bit, and maybe add some other things in there. But the ice spruce and let's see, this blue-green is pretty close to the ice spruce. It has a little more blue in it, so I'll probably add some of that prize ribbon to it. So let me take, and these are those Tim Holtz watercolors. This particular pan, which is the set 2, has a lot of those fall colors in it. So I think I'm going to work out of this, and I want this ice spruce. I'm going to add some of that right in here around these pumpkins. And this is watercolor paper. So it will be absorbent.
All right.
I'm going to layer the color on here.
So step 2 is to fill in the background with a blue-green color. Now, I've noticed on folk art canvases and things that the color is not smooth. Oftentimes there will be shading, and it might be because of age. Like the ones that you might see around might have a lot of age to them. But I have these Dina Wakley media paints on my desk. And I've got a blow-up bed in my studio for someone to sleep on, so I really can't. I can't move around too much. So I'm going to mix this blue-green color. I'm going to mix a little bit of this ocean and then some of the lapis. And then eventually I might even mix in some of this night to make a color that I think is probably, you know, something like a blue-green color. This looks like it's it's dulled down though. So let's dull it down a little bit by adding the opposite color. So opposite of blue green, let's get out a handy dandy tool. Opposite of blue green is red orange. So I'm going to add in a little bit of this Sedona to make it more dull. And I think I'm not on screen here. So this is Lapis, Ocean, and a little bit of Sedona. And I think it's getting close to the color that's on our slide. Looks pretty much like it. Yep. See? Very
This
close.
Antique linen has a little bit of a green tinge to it, which is why I think it works so nicely with this fall scene. And I don't want a white background there, so I want to fill in some of this area. And I'm going to wet this down, and I'm going to add some. I have 2 watercolor palettes out here too. I have the Woodlands from Prima, and it has some of those greens and blues in the mix. And then I also have this Decadent Pie from Prima, and you can see the lovely earthy tones in here in the Decadent Pie.
Yum. Give me a decadent pie, make it apple.
Yeah.
Or pumpkin. My youngest son's birthday is in October, and he always asks for pumpkin pie.
My youngest daughter's birthday is in October. She was almost a little Halloween treat.
Does she like pumpkin pie?
Her whole family likes pumpkin pie. The kids are crazy for it.
Well, it is good. So that's what I'll be making in mid-October for my son's birthday. He always asks for it.
So,
I always kind of think of that as like a Thanksgiving or something treat, but he always wants it for his birthday. So
well, we like it for pumpkin is good for soup and for other things, not just pie. I like it for muffins.
oh, definitely love muffins with pumpkin in it.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the other day when I was driving to the hospital, I stopped at the Starbucks and I got their pumpkin scone, which was really good. It had a little bit too much icing for my personal preference, but it was still really good.
So I've got a little dish here, and I've got my water. I think I'm just gonna pour a little water so I can rinse my brush out. Even though it's a water reservoir brush, and I want to grab some tissue to wipe my brush on. So I'm just going to put a little water in my dish. And really I'm looking at this color right here, which looks very much like this blue-green. And I think I'm going to blend with some of that. See these blues and greens right here? Those are gorgeous, gorgeous. So I'm just going to take this is a Pentel brush pen. It's got water in it, but I'm also going to add some water to these blues and greens here. And I'm going to start blending out this background with that watercolor.
So far I'm using acrylic paint because I really do want to paint out what's in the background here. But I do also have some watercolor palettes out, and I might come in with those. You can absolutely use whatever product you want. You could do this with just watercolor. You could use some pencils or pens or whatever you have in your stuff to do your primitive art with. There isn't like an answer. I would say that a lot of people, if they're doing arts like toll painting and things, which to me seem like a folk art activity, people use craft paint. So, if you have some inexpensive craft paint, it might be fun to do your page with that. Maybe use some crackle medium or something, because a lot of the pieces of folk art that you can see in, like, say, the American Folk Art Museum in New York are so old that they have crackles. So it'd be kind of fun to use a crackle medium, maybe.
That sounds fun to me.
Yeah, I know you love crackle.
I love my crackle. I do.
Yeah. Surprised you haven't whipped it out yet.
Well, a lot of the mediums and paints and things I left downstairs.
Yeah.
Working upstairs right now, and I want things that are easier to clean up. When I'm working with paints and gel printing and doing big canvases and stuff, I'll have to work downstairs. But right now I'm in a living space and I'm loving it because I can look out the window. It's sunny and bright. Usually I feel like I'm in the dungeon in the basement. So,
yeah, that is one thing about having the basement space. I actually work in a second floor studio, so I have a window right in front of me that I can look out. This used to be a bedroom, and when it was available, I moved all my stuff in here. One of my kids moved out.
So it's been nice to be above decks.
Definitely. I can understand that. All right, I think I've done step 2. I've got this blue color in my background.
Cool. Now I'm just activating the watercolor pencil on here. I just scribbled it down to get the color. And this is that antique linen tone up here in the top. And then those blues and greens in the background down below. Now I want to add, for step 3, use other colors on the image.
Yeah, and it's this one is this yellow oxide is our other focal color. So it's a greenish yellow, and of course, again, a muted color because it's this type of stuff. What do I have?
So this is a fossilized amber.
Fossilized amber, good choice.
Yeah. And it's kind of a more golden tone, but I'm going to use it on, I want to use it on a building here. Just trying to figure out which one I want to put it on because I know I'm going to have the tree trunk is going to be brown. So I want things that are going to work together.
I think I'm going to mix a little bit of this lemon, olive, and then I'm going to add in some of this cheddar to try to make a color similar to what's on our sheet. This one. So it's kind of a muted yellowy color. And I think it'll be good for my pumpkin. For some parts of my pumpkin anyway.
Yeah. So this is pretty primitive, you know, when I'm just, this is like coloring, right? This is like coloring in a coloring book, what I'm doing.
Yes, and what I'm doing too, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly what it is.
Nothing fancy here. You guys can do this.
You absolutely can do this without any difficulty.
Right.
I guess I need
add some of that to my squash in the bottom here too. Get some of that color blending going on. And we'll add some more bright color, which is this spiced marmalade, which is more of the pumpkin tone.
Yeah, I'm adding in, I used my yellow mixture at the top, and then I'm adding in some of this cheddar color, which is an orange. Again, sticking with these Dina Wakley acrylics because that's what I have on my desk. And then I think I'm going to add some of this Sedona, which is a real nice rusty color, at the bottom here and blend it up into the cheddar. So I'm going to end up with a nice looking pumpkin that's darker at the bottom and lighter at the top with that yellow oxide type color at the top. So I'm trying to blend a little bit here.
Let's see.
Like an ombre, basically.
A barn shape. So I want to come in here to my barn. And let's add some of that blue to the roof area. And I want to add just a little, I like this purpley tone. What one is this one? This one is Seedless Preserves.
And then I'm also going to do the same with my sunflower. I'm going to give it a little bit of this darker color and then fill out some of the other petals with the lighter colors. Kind of doing a little bit of blending. So yeah, this is super primitive, guys. Don't stress over this. This is coloring.
Yep. Nothing fancy going on here. Let's get a different blue. Let's add this one in here. And I need my brown in my tree. I'm not being careful about how I apply it either.
What's going to make your primitive art seem realistic or seem like it is primitive art is keeping to very simple shapes and very subdued colors.
And the other thing is you've got this simple black outline.
Yes. I'm going to have to touch up my outline. So I'm coming back with the olive color, which now to me seems like it needs to be greened up a little bit. So I'm adding in some evergreen to it just to make it, it's still that olivey, subdued color, but still, but now it's a little bit more green because it just seemed like it was really almost, I don't know, brownish. And I'm going to do this color with my leaves. And I might add a little bit again to that yellow oxide into that too. Doing kind of a blend,
Mm-hmm.
But my stem and all that is definitely going to be this more greenish tone. I would say these are muted colors. Almost as if you had taken the pure pigment and mixed it with its opposite, which I did in one case. Has anyone ever visited the American Folk Art Museum in New York? If you have, leave us a comment.
That would be fun.
Yep. I'd like to know if you've seen it, been there. I think they have the, man, I should know what the name of this piece is. It's so famous, but my brain's not functioning properly.
Gothic?
The Gothic, American Gothic.
Yeah.
Is at that museum, which, that's
would be a Grant Wood.
Yes, the old couple with their pitchfork.
Yep.
And their, kind of grandpa look.
And it's been played off of so much.
Yes. Yes, that's probably probably the most famous folk art type art that there is. Super famous. And in a lot of comedy sketches and things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I know you've all seen it. I know you know what we're talking about. Okay, there's my sunnyflower. Pretty happy with that. Probably going to need a few highlights. Did I run out of? I was using Titan Buff for highlights, but well, we'll deal with that later. Let's let this dry a little bit because it's it's wet. I'm gonna let it dry for later. I think shadows and highlights are probably in another step anyways. I haven't looked, but that's my guess.
Well, and honestly, there's not a lot of that in primitive folk art.
No, there's not. But there is in Chelsea art. So, you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
So I'm going to take some of this night color, which is this really dark blue, which is like, I can tell that it desperately needs to be blended with some water. But I'm going to try to use it maybe with a tiny bit of black, but not a whole lot to do my little crow guy. But I definitely need some water on my brush because this blue is like a blah. It's gone from blue to blah.
Blah?
Blah.
Is that a color?
It is now. I wanted mostly blue. Now I can't see his eye, so gonna have to deal with his eye and his legs. Yep. Come on.
Don't seem to be able to get those pencils back in the box. I just set them down on my desk, and that's not good because then they roll around.
Bratty pencils. Ugh. I wonder if I can fix that. Kind of went out the lines there. It's because my paint is so ugh. I've
Blend.
got a Bluck problem.
To get kind of a gray here, I think.
Anyways. He's got some legs down here. Come back in with my yellow. Let's paint those in. And his little beaky beak. You're gonna have to put some white on that to make it even show up. And he's gonna need a white eyeball. That probably completes step 3. Yeah. It's pretty much colored in. Oh, I don't have any of this. I have a brown color. So let's mix a little bit of this blue. Yep, a little bit of this dark blue with this Sedona color is definitely going to make a darker brown that I can put along the bottom of my page to indicate the nice, rich, fertile soil that this pumpkin and this sunflower are growing in. You don't want any sandy soil or clay soil. You want a nice dark brown, rich with nutrients. So there's my color palette. Definitely subdued colors and a lot of blending, but I just use these basic colors right here from the Dina Wakley line and blended as I went. Also, I used a little bit of this Titan Buff, and I might use some more of that for some highlighting in a bit. I'm gonna dry this. Oh, what happened there? Okay. How are you doing on the steps? Are you still on step 3? Are you muted? Because I don't hear you.
Sorry, Ron was in the kitchen. I'm
Oh.
trying to keep the racket out. No, I was trying to add some marks for texture.
Okay, so we're on step 4.
Yeah,
All
because
right.
I wanna get some visual texture going on here in the background. So,
Okay, I'll start that one. I wanted a Posca pen. I know I have another. Here's my whites. So where the heck are my darks? Oh, there they are. All right. I'm going to get a brand new Posca pen. I'm going to throw this one away because I want a finer tip than what I had. But still something permanent. I just wanted it to be, why don't you open? I'll bite it with my teeth. Add some marks, visual texture to your painted images. Okay, I can do that if I can just get my stupid pen open. There we go. It's sealed with plastic, and then you've got to take that off, and then you got to prime the pen, of course.
yeah.
So let's find something to prime it on. Here's my notes. There we go. Oh, that was quick. This one's nice and juicy. All right, so I just want to make my images a little more interesting. So I might make maybe some lines in, to indicate some sort of interest inside these leaves, to give it a little bit more visual and textural interest.
Yeah, and all I'm doing is just adding some color for texture and pattern. Just to make it look a little more fall-like, and to tie those colors from the bottom of the page into the top of the page.
That's a good plan.
And I think I want to add that same green along the border here. And bring that down from the top as well.
And of course, as you guys are doing this, step by step, day by day, you'll have lots of drying time, so you don't need to worry about drawing with a heat tool or anything like that.
Well, and it gives you plenty of time to think about, what it is you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You can step back and take a look at the process instead of trying to rush through and do everything all at once.
Exactly. And I know that in the past during this challenge, Peg and I have rushed, and I know everyone else has rushed, because when you're trying to just get it done, maybe you don't have time to fuss about things and you just rush right through it. And that's not what we're looking for here. We're looking for thought.
Enjoy the process,
Thoughts and prompt. That's what art journaling is about, is giving yourself a break and letting yourself just play with creativity and thinking about your day and thinking, or thinking about what you're making. Like, this is a fall page. It's about the feeling of what it feels like in the fall to go out to the pumpkin patch and, whatever it is that you're going to do, feel it, relax with it, think about it, rather than rushing. So it should be much more calming for everyone. And art journaling is something that I do to relax. if I have, time.
Right.
I haven't done it recently because I haven't had time, but take the time, make the time, give yourself a little bit of a break if you can. I think I'm going to also, like in some cases here, do some little hash marks to give a little bit of texture. That's always fun, little hash textures.
So I want to add some detail to the background. So I'm going to grab this detailer, which is a black lace mat from Jane Davenport. And I want to add a little bit of texture to the trunk of my tree. Maybe make kind of a knothole in the tree itself. Darken up the edges to give it a little more dimension. This is a really nice little brush pen. I think I picked it up on sale someplace. I think it was Patty Tolley told me about these. I thought I'd give it a try.
Yep, it's always fun to try new things and see how they work.
Yeah. Well, these watercolors from Tim are definitely new. And did I need them? No. But what I thought for me is his palette is one that I love. So like when you look at these colors, they speak to me and they go with all of his other color things that I already own. So why would I not?
Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
that,
My crow definitely looks more duck-like than crow-like, I'll tell you that. Oh well. He's a black duck.
Yeah.
Very primitive.
I had a black stone loon at one time. Somebody carved a stone loon for me. It's pretty cool.
Where's my other brush? This one. I was thinking I wanted to just darken up the edges a little bit. So if I can still get some of this paint that's not dry yet. I just feel like I should like age this,
Well, that's what you're feeling.
Yeah. I feels it.
Okay.
I'm not sure why. I just do.
I'm pretty happy with where this has gone. Might want to add a little age to my edge of my page down here, which is very... There we go. I like that better. Doing a little highlights and shadowing now.
I think we're on to highlight as needed.
Mm-hmm.
Or did we miss detail to the background? We got to figure out where we're at.
Yeah, I think we are number 6.
All right.
I'm just adding some depth to my fruit down here at the bottom, trying to get some separation between the different squash.
I think I might actually get maybe a stencil or something and add a little bit more detail to the background or something. It just seems like we missed a step somehow.
We did?
I don't know. Did you add detail to your
Yeah, I
background?
did, right here. See?
Oh, okay. You added dots. All right. That makes sense.
Yep, I did. I
Oh,
did.
I didn't. So now I got to go back and figure out how to fit that in.
Says add some marks, visual texture in to your painted image, and that's what I did. I added visual texture.
I added visual texture to the foreground, but not the background.
Well, and that's fine. I mean, that's basically what it asked you to do, was to add some. But you're saying you want some more.
I just feel like it's got maybe, I don't know.
I mean, I'm feeling like mine, if I did too much more, would just become very busy. And I don't want it overly busy. I would actually like to mute some of that. But it's
Yeah, you
okay.
have a lot of images on yours, so
Yeah.
it could get a little crazy if you.
Yeah, and see, that's because I added all that stuff in the background. I could take, I don't know if I have a white that would mute that or not. Don't really want white.
Off-white.
I think it's going to be a neutral of some sort.
Yeah, I'm using Titan Buff.
Yeah, this is called Sand Ridge pigment. And I think I'm going to add some Sand Ridge and blend out some of this. Kind of push that back a little bit.
I don't know. Is it too simple? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I like that pushed back a little bit more. So Sand Ridge it is.
Sand Ridge.
It's just a little bit too much contrast and texture there. And that is a week's worth of journal page. Can you believe it?
I really still feel like I need something in the background.
Each week we will do a daily prompt in the Facebook group. And then at the end of the week, we will be posting the video, the complete video, on our YouTube channel.
Yes, that is the plan. And we will, each week we'll focus on a different type of primitive art from a different area or time. And we hope that you will join us in playing along with our challenge this month, October 2022.
Which is why, primitive art is very childlike, very easy to start with. So I think anybody should be able to pick up a coloring book, a pen, a journal, just have some fun and play. Don't be intimidated by prompts and all of that. Just let your work flow.
Yes, absolutely. And I hope that you enjoyed this, and we will see you at the beginning of next week.
with some more fun.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Bye, guys.